Hey there, I'm Zamfon, and welcome back to the survival world. I am upon my boat because I need more gunpowder. But last episode we built our lovely catacombs. I'm still very happy with this thing, and I'm once again looking forward to expanding it. We shall see how things go. But today we're going to be leaving this nice little area of death to go, quite frankly, to the complete other side of our area, up and above the village. I do need to come back and finish this area right here eventually, but I want to focus my attention this episode to this right here. This is meant to be the docking yard and fishing yard or whatnot for the town. Essentially, this little area right here is how the town is meant to get all of their supplies from some big city off in Timbuktu, which honestly, I kind of want to build the city. I need to find a place to build that. But until then, I need to finish the lore of this area. Maybe we'll go on a little bit of an exploration at some point. Who knows? I've been thinking about live streaming, so maybe if I decide to do that, we can find a good spot for a big old city, my first city build together. Uh, until then, we have all of this that I probably placed a good 1,000 days ago. Jeez. I can't believe it's just sat here like this. But no more. I think the first way to really figure out how this is going to work is come on over to the town and look at what was supposed to be sort of like the older buildings, the buildings that weren't necessarily that well made. For instance, the bakery. I imagine the bakery would have been one of the first things opened up here before people got moved here residentially. So, with that in mind, and me realizing that I'm kind of losing my voice, let's go grab some wood and try something. Okay, so this is supposed to be a warehouse. I don't know if it's quite big enough for that, though. It's fine if I just completely destroy the ecosystem and ecology around me. Ah! Have I seriously never stripped? I've never... In 1,400 days, I have not stripped a spruce log. How? 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 These are supposed to be older buildings, so one of the best ways to make a building look older, as I have discovered, is just, stripping some wood down. There we go. And I think that does it. At least for the warehouse. I think that's pretty interesting. You got like a little bit of a vent on the top. It goes all the way around, including allowing just a lot of air to go up. I did consider breaking up the top with a second thing here, but I think that would get in the way, or get in the way of what I plan on sticking right over here, probably. There we go. I had to fix it a little bit. It looks a little bit better with the bracings, even if you can't really see them all that well. It makes me a little bit happier, a little, just a little bit. And but anyway, for these houses, I'm thinking that we build these in basically a copycat theme. Every building doesn't have to look different for this area, just simply because it's utilitarian. So we're gonna take these and make some small houses. And I'm gonna try and vary them up a little bit. They don't all have to look the same, but I want them to look very, very similar, just to kind of help get the idea across that, you know, all of these were built and made and then maintained over the years. Okay, so I've completed the rocks down here. I kind of like how that looks. I may go about and do some moss and whatnot. Excuse me. Mm, okay. But yeah, that's done, and I finished going around with the houses, and then decided that it could probably use a couple more, because if we come up here, you can see that there's a nice little curve here, and I wanted to continue that a little bit. So that way, when you come along the pathway over here and come down, it sort of blocks everything off. Like, you can kind of see the landscape peeking out and around it, but you're kind of locked into this area, and it makes it feel a little bit more cozy. Now, I haven't done any of the interiors because don't I don't feel like it. Maybe the interiors will come at a later date, but for right now, I don't feel like doing an interior because I I don't have a reason to. I really don't. Unless I wanted to put a bunch of um fishermen down here. Think of all the campfires. That's a thought. But for right now, we're just going to focus on building the area. I did go ahead and put in a flooring matching kind of like the more of what the city's work up in the town would have been. And I kind of like that. It's kind of like, you know, this you know, the original wooden structure was here, but then they just kind of renovated it to suit the needs of this going from being a regular fishing village to a sort of drop-off location for supplies. But before I get too far ahead of myself, rambling and rambling on, I think that we need to move on to the next thing that needs to be built, and I think that's going to be the crane. I'm not entirely sure how I want to build this thing, but it's got to be built. I think that'll do it. I think we're gonna have to we're, we're gonna have to come over here real quick and take a look at it, because we do need a crane right there. I'm just unsure if that's gonna be too too big. You know, looking at it, it kind of makes sense to have something right there, but at the same time, we've got this nice little open space right here that we could easily just nestle something into. I think I'm going to take it down and move it to the other side. No, I'm not. So my thought, even though it's going to look very silly, is what if I just... Ah, no! Oh, I miscalculated. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that, but that's probably the easiest. That's probably my best. And that means over here we can actually do something else with this platform. And I'm thinking, okay, so I think I think I have figured out exactly what I wanted to do. There's the crane I sat on top of the building. That seemed like the best idea. And then of course I had to figure out what to do with each of these towers. And I'm thinking I haven't quite figured out what to do with that one. I'm thinking maybe I can fill it up with a few things and put a railing on it, and maybe that becomes sort of like this is where people may observe what's going down in the docks, or maybe gives some kind of instructions to whoever's operating the crane. And then on this side, I was like, well, we could just put in a lighthouse. After all, you need to be able to see what's there, right? Maybe it would have made a little bit more sense to put a lighthouse perhaps right here, but I like it. It's something that fits right in that empty little space, and then I can come through here. I'm thinking a tree would look really nice right there. Maybe one that kind of goes up and then sprouts out. We'll see. For right now, this is the progress made so far. It doesn't feel like a lot, but it took 2 hours to build all this because, well, mostly the crane was being absolutely abhorrent. I suppose the next step would be to come on down here and map out exactly where the docks are. I'm attempting to mix in some of what the city would have built to aid in their being here and whatnot, and the old town that was here. I think I've mentioned that, but I'm hoping that I'm finding and keeping that middle ground. I don't know how well I'm doing, but I won't ever figure out how to do it if I don't try. With that in place, I think the next logical step would be to build the path before I do any kind of detailing. Yeah, I think the next logical step would be to build the path, and I think if I do that, then I may as well drag the path all the way up and finally connect the fishing side with the city side. That's going to be a very, very satisfying thing to see. And just like that, we now have a path going all the way from town to the fishing village. I even added these cute little logs in places where it just kind of looked weird without something bordering the edge of the block. And I've done that pretty much in random kind of spots all the way through and up the hills. I think it adds something. I really think it does. And then we also have some dirt paths. I switched out the path blocks for some dirt paths. Of course, now we also have this little bit of a bowl, and it goes all the way down into here, where once again I replaced all of the path blocks with coarse dirt. And oh right, that's supposed to be like that. And yeah, so I think that looks a lot better. The only thing now is decorating, which is going to take quite a bit of time, and it's just going to be one of those things where I place bits and bobs around. I'm considering going ahead and building a boat, but I think I might leave that for another time just because I don't know exactly what I would want to build if I did build a boat. Actually, I have one idea, but I don't want to build it right here at the second. I was looking at this spot right here, and you may not really be able to tell from this angle, but if we come up on this hill, look, it looks so bare. And with the majority of this whole thing being taken up and over by the city, um, I think it would be a decent idea to kind of reserve one little piece of the town that still does its intended purpose. In other words, I kind of want to build a little fishing hut. There we go, that's a little bit better. Blend in the dirt path on in here. Yeah! And with that, we have our fishing hut. I'm really, really liking this. I'm thinking now that I probably could have extended the awning a little bit up over the section right here, but I'm gonna leave it. You know, you don't want to be fishing in the rain anyway, so this is a nice little area. It's gonna be yet another thing that I'm gonna have to decorate in just a second here, but I think that'll be just fine. Speaking of decorating, I should probably get to that, huh? Thinking a few crates and boxes and stuff like that. Just make it really look like a space, you know, kind of like... And look at this then. Oh my goodness. We have some cute little flower patches, everything just ready to go. And all these nice little barrels and storage and whatnot for the potential ships to bring in. Full of all kinds of goodies. I would assume they're empty right now. Maybe I'll just do a lot of fishing and stick it all in here. But if we come on through our lovely place, we have a tree. I'm not sure how I feel about the tree. The tree seems a little bit droopy. I'm gonna I need to practice more trees. That's what I'm concluding here. Of course, we've got ourselves a little bit of... I'm thinking that this is probably stuff that they're about to take back down, like food and other supplies that they would be putting on the ships for their way back to the city. And then, of course, once again, I have done no interiors. But if we head on down, you will find that our little fishing hut now has barrels on the support for some extra storage, and there is lichen everywhere because, well, things overgrow and overgrid, and overgrew the grid they did. I think despite all the work that's been done in this area, though, I think the rocks are still my favorite. I'm so proud of that. It's such a silly thing, but I am. We've got some cute little drip leaf along the edges to make the bank look a little bit more lively. And of course, more moss and lichen to look like, sort of, I don't know, maybe some of the stuff, some of the greenery or algae or whatnot washed up on the deck. I don't know. It looks nice. It looks cool. And then if we look in from up here, it looks a lot more lively, doesn't it? It just looks a lot more put together. I ran out of lichen, and now that I'm looking at it, it's bothering me that there's lichen on this side and none on this side. But I can change that myself. It's fine. It's okay. I'm just being nitpicky at this point. But other than that, there's not really much to see. Of course, we have the lighthouse. I don't think I've paid much attention to this thing. Uh, hello? I don't think I've paid much attention to this thing since I built it, but there's the lighthouse. I really like it. To keep things from crashing into the rocks, and so it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I think that I did not light up my rocks properly. It's fine. All in all, I am very, very happy with what we have accomplished here today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If I don't stop now, I will probably continue on, and then this video will never get out. So, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, and if you're interested in seeing where this world goes, why not hit the subscribe button? Just a little bit of a wang. You can do it. Yeah, maybe? No? Okay, well, either way, I hope you have a lovely day, and, bye.